So today's discourse is called Love, Fear, and Liberation. So it's very exciting. And this discourse is based in love. And so that's why love comes first in this discourse. We accept the fact and we affirm the fact that all is love. That God is love, God is all. Therefore, everything under the sun, around the sun, is love. These are all manifestations of love. And even though we've mentioned this, things may not appear to be love, everything is rooted in love. Everything is rooted in love. In whatever it is will eventually reveal itself as love. So we accept this, that God is love, and we trust God, creation, spirit, Christ, consciousness, however you call this, source energy, that it is love. It's the glue of the universe and beyond. So, this is the foundation for the discourse, that everything is love. This, okay. We have a reading today. This reading is from medium.com, and it's by M.G. Blehart, and it's called Fear is the Obstacle. FDR famously said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Yoda stated, "Fear leads us to anger. Anger leads to hate. And hate leads to suffering." In Dune, Frank Herbert gave us the litany against fear. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. When it comes to truly living life, in all likelihood, the single greatest obstacle is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of the reaction of others, fear of ridicule, fear of failure, a fear of success. You are constantly presented with choices. Every action and inaction on your part will have an impact on your life. Some of these choices are simple. Wear blue pants or black, button down or polo shirt, Chinese or deli sandwich for lunch. Some choices are more complicated. This job or that. Do I go on the date? Do I drive down the unfamiliar road? The simpler and less far-reaching decision, the less concern making a choice will be. But for really big decisions, buying a house, proposing marriage, taking a new job, there is palpable fear. And the fear can be so overwhelming, you may choose either not to act or you let the fear choose your path for you. Okay, and then he goes on to say, my struggles with fear. I am a victim of this problem. And by victim, I mean of my own making. I sometimes have stood before a choice, and when faced with the options before me, either made no choice or chose the familiar, and went on letting my life live me, and took no risk. Rather than take the chance and see what new challenge might be before me, I cowered in the familiar and allowed life to just happen around me. And then he talks about choosing to stay in his comfort zone. Life taking no risks, stagnating. Then one day my life was forever changed, and for that time I well and truly chose to take control and to recover from serious injuries. I accepted no limitations, no possibility of failure, no fear. For the first time since leaving high school, I truly created a reality of my own choosing. Years have passed since then, and I have flirted with this process. Sometimes I am the ultimate champion of conscious reality creation, but all too often I self-sabotage and fail to achieve my desires. Why? The primary issue, the main distraction, the premier obstacle has been fear. Tangible versus intangible fear. I am not afraid of much on the surface. When it comes to tangibles, I am fearless. But what I do fear are tremendous intangibles. Failure, success, abandonment, ridicule, disappointment, love, loathing, loneliness. I fear both feeling and not feeling emotions. I fear disappointing both myself and those I care about. There, I've said it. My primary obstacle to conscious reality creation is fear. Despite all I have known, all I continue to learn and experience, I am in a constant struggle to overcome and silence my intangible fears. And now it goes on to talk about the instinctual, the instincts to stay alive in nature when we're incarnated on this planet. And this instinctual mind that helps produce this fear. So, and then he talks about 3 options for handling fear. Give in, let the fear paralyze you, let the fear overwhelm you, drive you to your bed in your cave under the covers, hiding from everyone and everything. It's important to realize that if you make this choice, you will always be a victim of your fear, and there will be no other response available to you. This becomes a vicious circle. Another option is to flee or run away. Find all the distractions you can to avoid the fear. Do whatever it takes to drive the fear away. The trouble with this, though, is that while you might escape for a time, you will have to confront and deal with the fear eventually. This can work, but it's fraught with uncertainty and can lead to being overwhelmed and giving in. It's a continuation of the previous vicious circle. And this third one is fight, but we would say face. Face your fear. Confront the fear. Analyze it. Apply logic and reason to it. Then ask yourself what you can do about it. Face your fear head on rather than give in or flee, and then you can move forward. This alone is the one way to truly take control and not have the obstacle of fear dissuade you from choices that could make your life amazing. Easy to read, easy to consider, not so easy to practice. Still, recognizing this can go a long ways towards combating the ever-present fear. So identifying it is the first step to overcome it. And he says, this is almost over, how? Analyze it. What am I fearing? Why am I fearing this? Is my fear warranted or nothing but a visceral reaction? What should I do about the fear? Can this fear be ignored, disregarded, or does it need to be heeded? Apply some logic and reason. What is the root of the fear? Is it truly something I should be fearful of, or should I work to disregard it? Rational or irrational? Is this the thing I am afraid of really the origin of my fear, or is it something else? What, if anything, can I do about it? Ask yourself, what do I do about it? Is the thing I fear able to directly impact my life, or is it indirect? What precautions can I take? How do I work with this to not be overwhelmed? There's no one-size-fits-all answer. Why? Because everyone is so different. But the process applies to all and can help stop fear from dictating how you will live your life. The choice is yours. Fear is the obstacle to many things in life. You get to decide how to face it, what to do with it, and how not to allow it to dominate all that you do. Mindfulness makes you aware of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. It puts you in a conscious state that allows you to better see if your fear is overwhelming you. With that, you can better take on, cope with, and overcome your fear. Don't let fear destroy your life. It is not stronger than you. I hope some amount of ideas and tools I, Mr. Blehart, has provided here will help you see this and face and overcome the vast amount of fear in this world today. I can do it. You can do it. Fear will not win when all is said and done. So, this is a very practical article to deal with fear in our lives, recognizing our fears, and why it's important to do that. And energetically speaking, as energetic beings, one of the things that we want to notice if we're doing is our intent. Where are we coming from? You may have, the same action. It may appear to be the same action. Two people can have, the same thoughts or actions, but what is the intent behind those actions? We are constantly purifying what is our intent. Where are we coming from? And this intent is like the seed of the manifestation. So if we're coming from an intent of fear, protection, doubt, that is what can manifest. That's what we're manifesting. If we come from a seed, an intent of love, security, safety, trust, belief, that is what we are manifesting. No matter how it appears, because it may, it's not about how it appears to manifest either. So, and then at the same time it is. If you, let's take an example, if like being worried about sickness, fear, if you're doing self-care out of fear of death, fear of sickness, we could appear to be very healthy, but then that seed is planted in that soil is fear and doubt and stress and anxiety. We could practice, and I'm thinking of like George Carlin, or they have all these examples of people that like smoke and drink, and then they, but they just enjoy their life, and they don't get sick, or maybe they do get sick down the line, but it's the intent that's there. So it's not to judge how it manifests. If it manifests in a way that maybe you don't like, then that's where the trust comes in. You know, this obstacle, or this, not obstacle, but this situation was given to me for a reason. And I trust that I can do this. Okay. What does this have to do with liberation? Fear is part of our emotional makeup. Let's see. Okay. It says, if it's cutting up, I'm sorry. We will post this again on YouTube. Fear is the pathway to our liberation. It's like a guidepost. Fear is obstacles. It's like the shackle. It is shackles that hold us down, that hold us back from being a co-creator in God, in this creation. So, we can use fear as a tool for liberation. If you fear death, and it's more than just this article. This article is very mentally driven. Through this article, we can, and beyond this article, through meditative self-mastery, reflection, practices, we can uncover these fears and release them, clear them for our own liberation. So take the time to do this. Notice the energy that's coming up in any moment of the day. If you watch TV and or the news and you feel fear of a political leader, fear of the coronavirus, of what is the root of these fears? Can we transmute them? See how this fear is binding us. How is it binding us from taking action in who we are? How is it binding us, keeping us shackled from our liberation as humanity? Co-creating, creating our reality. Experiencing love. And the more we practice this conscious awareness, this freeing ourselves of these shackles, this trusting in ourselves, trusting in God. This is how we truly experience love, and it's this love of ourselves, of this creation. From the creation, there is nothing to fear. This abundance, this fear consciousness creates this lack consciousness. That is not our inheritance. That is not our spiritual inheritance. Fear is a tool to create liberation for ourselves and all. So take the time, recognize that all obstacles in our lives are supposed obstacles. Notice the energy that we put toward them. They are manifestations of fear. Clear the fear. Love the fear. Love it into transmutation. Love it to be able to transmute. Don't suppress it. Let the obstacles melt away in our life path so that we can experience liberation and love. So prepare for deep level meditation.